Welcome everyone to Infinite Story Realm. Here, we step into the shadows to unearth the most bone-chilling horror stories, haunting urban legends, and supernatural mysteries from the darkest corners of the world. Prepare yourself, because once you enter this realm, there is no turning back. And now, settle in and let us begin today's story. This video was produced with the help of AI, so there may be some imperfections and a few awkward moments. We sincerely appreciate your understanding. You are a devoted fan, currently attending a massive concert with tens of thousands of people. Standing there on stage is the person you have adored for the past 10 years. While you are lost in the moment, your phone suddenly vibrates. An anonymous message appears. The person on stage is an imposter. Whatever you do not go up there and interact with him. Dazed, you look up. You realize your face is being broadcasted, filling the entire giant screen on stage. Your idol smiles at you and says, "My lucky guest, may I invite you to join me on stage?" Quitting your job on a Tuesday was the easy part. Getting the ticket was harder. Third row, center floor, SoFi Stadium. Casper Sterling, The Echo Tour, 10th anniversary. You wave your light stick with 50,000 other people, and you tell yourself this is what freedom feels like. Then the spotlight hits his jaw at the wrong angle. Just for a second, a 15-second window in the rig transition. Light coming in low and oblique. In that window you see it grain. Long parallel lines running beneath the surface of his skin. The way grain runs through wood. Not a tattoo. Not shadow. Something structural. You blink. Look away. Look back. Normal. Smooth. Beautiful. An illusion, you tell yourself. Trick of the light. The music is still playing when something presses against your left ear. Not sound, not breath, but the sensation of a voice arriving from empty air. Free the real one. Tear down the beautiful lie. The seat beside you is empty. Has been all night. Your phone buzzes. Unknown number. The man on that stage is not what he appears to be. Do not go up if they call you. You are still reading it when the crowd erupts. The screen above the stage, 80 feet of LED, cuts to a close-up of your face. On the stage, Casper Sterling smiles directly at you. "Our lucky audience member tonight. Won't you come join me up here?" He comes down from the stage himself. The crowd parts for him. His shadow falls at an angle that does not match the light source. And then he is standing in front of you. Hand extended. Smile unchanged. "Come on," he says quietly. They're all waiting. You have admired this man for 10 years. You take his hand and something is wrong. Not painful. Wrong. The grip has all the correct pressure points, but none of the small living adjustments a hand makes without thinking. No warmth. No give. Technically correct in the way that a lockpick is technically a key. You pull your hand back. You sit down. The smile does not change. That is the thing. It does not change at all. A human face, rejected in front of 50,000 people, always does something. Even a flicker. Even just in the eyes. His face does nothing. It simply continues being what it is. He turns back to the crowd. "The people in this room," he says, warm as sunlight. "You're not just fans. You're family. And family takes care of each other. Right? Right. So when someone in the family doesn't want to play along, he does not look at you. He points. Traitor. Get her up there." The fans around you move at the same moment. Matching white shirts. Same branded light sticks. Placed there all evening while you were not registering the pattern. Hands on your wrists. Your arms. Pulling upward. You plant your feet. The man on that stage is not real. Silence. Total. 50,000 voices. Cut. In the silence, a sound you should have heard earlier. Click, click. Creak, creak. On the stage, Casper Sterling's head rotates toward you. Too slowly. Too far. Past the point where a neck should stop. His jaw drops and closes with each syllable. The mechanical fall and click of something with hinges instead of muscles. Found out, are we? Under the lights, you see them now. Thin strings running from his wrists, his shoulders, the crown of his head, vanishing up into the rigging grid above. A marionette. He has always been a marionette. Click, click. Creak, creak. The sound spreads, row by row, section by section. Every person around you tilts their head at the same angle and opens their painted mouths. Your phone buzzes. Unknown number. Look at his left ankle. Look at what isn't there. Smooth, unmarked skin above the white shoe. No scar. Nothing that belongs to a body that has ever lived. Behind you, the first deliberate step of wood on concrete. Run. You come back to yourself on a hardwood floor. Not the stadium. A room. Silver lake. High ceilings. Exposed brick. A kitchen island with a cracked corner repaired with epoxy. Not quite matched. Someone lived here for a long time. Someone who noticed things about a space but never got around to fixing them. You know, without knowing how you know that this is her apartment. You are inside her memory of it, which is a different thing, because memory edits. Memory selects. The crack in the epoxy repair is very clear. The view from the windows is approximate, impressionistic. More feeling than geography. The posters on the walls are very clear. Casper Sterling 12 times in 12 configurations. Tour posters, magazine covers. The vinyl sleeve of his first album blown up to gallery scale. Alongside them, handwritten notes layered across a corkboard on the south wall. Newspaper clippings, printouts, copies of legal documents. Not fan memorabilia, evidence. The front door is locked from outside. In the far corner, a marionette stands with its head bowed. 6.5 feet of painted wood, swaying very slightly. Closer than it was a moment ago. Your phone buzzes. Unknown number. The code is not what you think. Valentine's Day belongs to the lie. There is another phone on the kitchen island. Cracked screen. Locked. You stare at it. Something in the back of your mind turns the problem over. The way a lock tumbler turns. Valentine's Day belongs to the lie. Not 0214. The other date. The one that belongs to the real one. 021597. The phone unlocks. You work quickly, keeping the puppet in your peripheral vision. It advances in the way things advance in dreams. Not when you watch it, but when you look away. That slow wooden creak. The dry protest of joints not designed for this much motion. The phone holds more than you bargained for. More than you can look at without feeling it. A decade of documentation. Dates, audio files, photographs. A timeline assembled with the patience of someone who had organized grief into purpose. Because grief alone had never been enough. And alongside the evidence, something harder to name. Certain entries written in a voice that is not cold at all. March 14th, 2 years ago. He would have hated this. The way they use his chord progressions in the bridge of the new single. He always said that particular resolution felt cheap. October 9th, last year. Found his handwriting on the back of a lyric sheet. I had forgotten what it looked like. I had to sit down. Then the audio files. A studio recording, rough mix. Someone at a piano working through a melody. The voice has the same timbre as Casper Sterling's, but warmer, less produced, with an uncertainty that has never appeared in any Casper Sterling recording. Because Casper Sterling's team would never allow uncertainty. This is not Casper Sterling. The handwriting on the attached sheet music. Caleb. C. Sterling. The melody that became the opening of Reach for the Stars, streamed 4 billion times, is here in this voice 2 years before Casper Sterling debuted. Then the other file. You should be grateful, Casper says. You know what they would have done with you? Nothing. You know what I did? I gave it a face. I gave it a face that people could look at. Don't look at me like that. You signed the papers. You knew what the surgery was for. That's on you. You stopped the recording. The puppet is directly behind you. 6.5 feet of painted wood and old grief. Smile very wide. One wooden hand rising toward your throat. I know what you are, you say. You're a performance. You've always been a performance. The hand stops. You hold the phone up and play the recording again. Casper's voice fills the apartment, thin and cold and certain of itself. And as it plays, something changes in the puppet's painted face. A hairline crack forming along the jaw. A fissure running from the corner of the too-wide smile up toward the glass bead eye. The afternoon light through the windows turns red. The second layer begins to crack. The stage again, but different now. Empty. Every marionette gone. Every seat vacant. The 50,000 strings hanging limp from the overhead grid. Like shed skin. In the center of a single white spotlight, the puppet. It has shed the white suit. What stands before you is the armature beneath. Raw joint work. Mechanism. The thing that was always there under the performance. Paint cracked along every seam. Red smile flaking. One glass bead eye missing. Leaving a socket of dark splintered wood. It speaks. Not Casper's voice. Something older, drier. With the flat cadence of a machine working through its last power. Who was she? She was a musician, you say. She played cello. She met Caleb at a session recording 7 years before any of this. She was not a fan. She was never a fan. She was someone who loved a person. And the person died. And then she watched his face worn by someone else for a decade. The puppet sways. Who was she? She was the only person who knew. The only one with access to the original recordings. Because Caleb trusted her with them. The only one who understood what had been stolen. Not just credit. Not just royalties. But a person. A whole person, erased. Who was she? You take a step forward. She was someone who waited 10 years. Because she needed it to be undeniable. Because grief alone would not be enough. And one woman's testimony against the most beloved pop star in the world would be dismissed as delusion. So she waited. She documented. She built a case that could not be argued with. And she chose the moment when the most people would be watching. She burned it down. She did. The puppet's remaining I finds you. Was she wrong? You think about Caleb Sterling's voice on that rough track. Working through a melody in the dark. Alone. Making something beautiful in a space where no one was watching. You think about what it is to build a life around the work of someone who loved you. Because that work is the only thing left of them. No, you say. She was not wrong about what she knew. She was not wrong about what she felt. What she did, that's a different question. One you don't have an answer to. The puppet lunges. The wooden hand finds your throat. Dry, cold, enormously strong. You feel the pressure. You feel, beneath it, a flood of sensation that is not yours. Grief like a physical mass in the chest. Rage that has nowhere left to go. Love that has survived a decade of loss and is still, somehow, intact. Her memories, all of them, not yours, not ones you were born with, arriving as though they have always been waiting inside you, coming all at once. You do not fight the grip. Caleb Sterling. The name lands like a key in a lock. The grip stops tightening. In the silence, something changes in the quality of the light. Warmer, sourceless. The way warmth is sometimes simply present in a room where someone you love has recently been. A shape resolves at the edge of the stage. The outline of a person, more feeling than image. The suggestion of someone with their hands in their pockets. In the way of someone accustomed to waiting. The puppet's grip releases. The shape extends a hand toward you. Somewhere under the puppet and the marionettes and the burning stadium, and 10 years of disciplined rage, there is something that still moves toward light. You take the offered hand. The stage dissolves. The fire does not hurt. The first thing you feel coming back is the chair, the recliner's upholstery, the lumbar support hitting 3 centimeters too high. You have spent enough hours in NIB's dive chairs to know each one's complaints intimately. Nib, you sit with the word for a moment. Let it settle back into place. After 4 hours of being someone else, 4 hours of being a person who quit her job on a Tuesday and bought a ticket on a Wednesday and stood in a stadium with 50,000 people who turned to wood around her. None of that happened. Not to you. You pull the electrodes off your temples. The room reassembles itself in the specific way it does after a long dive. Monitors too bright, air too cold, overhead lighting that feels personal in a way it should not. Your hands are shaking slightly. They always do. You have never mentioned this in your after-action reports. Hey, Marcus from across the room. Give it a minute. I'm fine. You were under for 4 hours. I said I'm fine, Marcus. You sit up. Lab 7, Neuroinvestigation Bureau's Los Angeles facility. Did she set the fire on purpose? Marcus asks. Was it intentional? You reach past him and pull up the audio file management interface. The recording from Sarah Miller's phone, Casper's voice, cold and damning, sits in the evidence queue. You look at it for a moment. Then you look through the observation window at Sarah Miller. You think about October 9th of last year. Found his handwriting on the back of a lyric sheet. I had forgotten what it looked like. I had to sit down. You delete the audio file from the evidence queue. Marcus stares at you. It was a technical malfunction, you say. Pyrotechnic system failure, consistent with the fire marshal's preliminary findings. I found nothing in the patient's accessible memory to indicate intent. You were in there for 4 hours. It's a complex case. Her trauma architecture is extensive. You stand. File the report. Malfunction. Accidental. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. Okay, he says finally. I'm going to check on the patient. The neurology ward is blue at midnight. Not the stadium's neon blue. The specific blue of a room where machines keep watch over sleeping bodies. Monitor screens. Standby indicators. Call buttons no one is pressing. Sarah Miller is in the second room on the left. Her file. Sarah Catherine Miller, 31. Evanston born. CalArts trained. Cellist. Session musician. No known next of kin. Catatonic since the night of the SoFi Stadium incident. What the file does not contain. The color of the rug in her Silver Lake apartment. The way she annotated Caleb's handwriting in her documentation. Not archival. Intimate. The entry about forgetting the shape of his handwriting. And having to sit down. You pull a chair to the side of her bed. She looks younger this way, without the weight of 10 years of disciplined grief. She is just a woman in her early 30s, with the particular stillness of someone who has gone somewhere inside themselves, and not yet found the way back. You take out your phone. You find the oldest audio file from her archive. You turn the volume low. You press play. Caleb Sterling's voice fills the quiet room, warm and unguarded, working through the opening bars of what would become Reach for the Stars. The recording is imperfect. The creak of a piano bench, the soft percussion of his foot keeping time. The places where he stops and starts over, because something is not right yet. A voice in the process of making something. A voice that does not know it is being listened to. You watch Sarah Miller's face while the recording plays. Nothing dramatic happens. But something changes, a settling, as though a muscle held very tight for a very long time has been given permission to rest. The song plays through. In the silence after, you lean forward and say the thing you were not sure you would say until you were saying it. It's done, Sarah. He's free. The monitors continue their quiet work. You sit for a while longer, then you get up, put your chair back exactly where you found it, and walk out into the Los Angeles night, which smells of exhaust and dry heat and the distant Pacific. The city goes on around you, enormous and indifferent and full of lights. You take the long way home,